Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Monday Night Raw review. Monday Night Raw tonight was from the Amica Mutual Pavillion in Providence, Rhode Island, and the show just ended. And Monday Night Raw tonight, I thought it was a very mediocre show, in my opinion. And tonight on the show, we had Damian Priest and Dominik Mysterio versus Johnny Gargano and Dexter Lumis. Cody Rhodes was in action, and he ended up taking on LA Knight. We had Bronson versus Elias. You could tell who won that match right there. We had Austin Theory versus Angelo Dawkins. Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin. Another match that you all know who won that match. Bianca Belair versus Chelsea Green. You all probably know who won that match. And then the main event, we had a street fight. It was Sikoa versus Kevin Owens. Also, Edge ended up coming out at the beginning of Monday Night Raw tonight to call out Finn Balor, for their feud going into WrestleMania, to settle their feud. And we also had one of the worst segments of tonight to build up to one of the worst matches this year at WrestleMania, and that is OMOS and Brock Lesnar. What a god-awful segment that was. But overall, Monday Night Raw, very mediocre show tonight. But before I get into the review, if you guys haven't checked out my previous video that I uploaded earlier today, did a movie hunting video, going to the Salvation Army thrift store, and picked up some WWE DVDs, the Brian Pillman one, the DX Last Stand, and also got the Twisted and Disturbed Life of Kane, and also Anaconda. But definitely check out my movie hunting video if you guys haven't seen it. But let's jump right into the review. Monday Night Raw open up tonight with Edge. Edge ended up making his way out to the ring. Got a good reaction from the crowd there in Providence, Rhode Island. So Edge ended up standing in the ring. And he got on the mic. Edge ended up saying that getting a reaction like this never gets old. Of course, because Edge is respected. He's a Hall of Famer. So he deserves to get a reaction like that every single week. And Edge ended up saying this is why he still does this. He ended up saying that he knows why he's here. And Providence also knows why Edge is here. So Edge called out Finn Balor. He called out Finn Balor to the ring so they can finally be done with this. So the Judgment Day ended up coming out. We had Damian Priest, Balor, Rhea Ripley, and Dominik. They all appeared on the stage. So Edge put his head down in frustration. Balor got on the mic. He kept saying that he's here live and in the flesh. Balor ended up saying that he finally agrees with all the clowns and wants to hear what he has to say. So Edge ended up saying that he's not here to say anything. Edge ended up saying that he's here to end all this. And that Balor is just going to hide back there. So Edge ended up saying that if he comes over there, he'll sick Pugsley and Wednesday on him. Making a reference to the Addams family. He also called one of them Lurch. So he kept saying a few weeks ago, Balor challenged him to a match at WrestleMania. And Edge ended up saying that since Balor isn't man enough to come in here and face him, if he wants his match at WrestleMania, then he's got it. So Balor ended up celebrating that he's going to WrestleMania. So Balor ended up saying that if Edge thought the beating that he got at Extreme Rules was bad, so Edge told Balor to shut his mouth. He cut him off there. So Edge ended up saying that for the last year of his comeback, he's wasted it with all of them. So he ended up saying that the year before that, he wrestled in front of a bunch of TV screens in the Thunderdome. Yeah, we all don't want to remember the Thunderdome. So Edge ended up saying that he doesn't have time for this. He ended up saying that he needs to accomplish what he needs to do before he's done. He ended up saying that he's running out of time. So he ended up saying Balor pulled the Judgment Day out from under his feet and made them better. Edge wanted to say that he can't admit that because he leaned into what they are. Bitter, immature malcontents. And that they're an emo delight. He ended up saying that it worked. And that every other week, they have left him laying. And he ended up saying that they made him utter two words he never thought would fall out of his mouth. And those two words were, I quit. And then Edge ended up saying that they still bashed his wife's skull in with the concerto. You know, of course, they bashed Beth Phoenix's skull with the concerto. So Edge ended up saying that for the last year, they've tried to make his life a living hell. And a lot of the time, they accomplished it. So Edge ended up saying that there is only one way that this can end. At WrestleMania. So Edge ended up saying to Finn Balor, how about we have this match at WrestleMania inside Hell in a Cell? So Balor stared Edge, stone-faced. We had an Edge chant end up picking up from the crowd. So Balor ended up saying that he's been to hell before, and it spit him out. He ended up saying hell couldn't handle his demons. So Balor ended up saying to Edge, I'll see you at WrestleMania. Until then. So then Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley, and Dominik end up making their way down to the ring. And they end up beating down on Edge. The crowd end up loudly booing at them. And so then we saw Dexter Lumis, Candice LeRae, and Johnny Gargano end up run down to save Edge. Rhea Ripley end up handling Candice LeRae. And then it went to commercial, and that was how the segment ended. But overall, thought this was a decent segment here to open Monday Night Raw. With Edge coming out, wanted to end all this with Balor, wanted to end all this with the Judgment Day, and we are getting a Hell in a Cell match between Edge and Balor. So with Balor ended up saying that he couldn't handle his demons, that's a tease right there. That possibly we're going to be seeing Demon Balor at WrestleMania. We'll possibly get Demon Balor versus Brood Edge. And I would love to see that. So that will possibly be happening at WrestleMania. We're going to get Demon Balor and Brood Edge inside Hell in a Cell. And it's going to be a very good match, I can tell. So pretty much looking forward to that. And as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we had the first match of the night, which was Damian Priest and Dominik versus Johnny Gargano and Dexter Lumis tag team match. Of course, we had Rhea Ripley at ringside and Candice LeRae also at ringside. And this was a good match here. This was a very entertaining match. So As Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, the match was already in progress. We saw Johnny Gargano punching away at Dominik in the corner. Dominik fought back and applied a side headlock on Gargano. Gargano whipped Dom off, but Dom ended up delivering a shoulder tackle to Gargano, ended up taking Gargano down. Gargano quickly got to his feet, ended up hitting a pair of arm drags to Dom. Dom dropped down, but Gargano ended up stopping himself. Gargano then ended up kicking Dominik in the head. Dom ended up tagging in Damian Priest. Gargano looked over to Dexter Lumis, and Gargano tagged in Dexter Lumis, so it was Lumis and Damian Priest going at it here. So Dexter Lumis and Damian Priest, they were circling the ring. They locked up. Damian Priest ended up wenching Dexter Lumis' arm. Lumis rolled through, and he kipped up. Damian Priest ended up applying a side headlock on Lumis. Lumis whipped Damian Priest off, but Damian Priest ended up shoulder tackling Dexter Lumis down. Lumis kipped up, and Damian Priest ended up backing away. Priest then ended up kicking Lumis in his midsection, started punching him to the corner. Priest ended up beating Lumis down before he whipped Lumis into the opposite corner. Lumis ended up hitting the turnbuckles hard and fell to his knees. Priest started kicking away at Lumis and sent him into the ropes. Lumis then ended up drop kicking Priest out of the ring. Priest ended up slapping the commentary table because he was frustrated. He got back into the ring. Lumis then connected with a drop toe hold to Priest, and then Lumis tagged in Gargano. Lumis ended up bouncing Priest's face off of Gargano's boots, and Priest quickly started punching Gargano down. He lifted Gargano before he ended up hitting the snake eyes on the top turnbuckle. So Dominik ended up tagging in, started punching away at Gargano. Dominik ended up whipping Gargano into the corner, and he charged, but Gargano ended up getting his knees up. Gargano ended up sending Dom out of the ring with the running hurricanrana. Gargano was sent up for a plancha, but he landed on his feet when Dom ended up moving out of the way. So Gargano ended up kicking Dom in the face, and he avoided Damian Priest. Dexter Lumis ended up punching Priest back, and Gargano ended up wiping out Dom and Damian Priest with a cannonball off the apron, which was cool. So then as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Gargano started chopping away at Damian Priest's chest. Priest ended up clapping the ears of Gargano, and he put him in the corner. Dominik ended up tagging in. Loud boos from the crowd there. Dom ended up choking Gargano in the corner and tagged Damian Priest back in. Priest ended up taunting the crowd and started punching Dexter Lumis. Priest then ended up hitting Gargano with a running elbow, and he ended up dropping him with a broken arrow. Dom ended up tagging in, and he applied a chin lock to Gargano. Gargano fought up, and Dom ended up cutting Gargano off. And so Dom then ended up hitting the three amigos, like Eddie Guerrero, of course. So he hit the three amigos, and he got boos from the crowd. Dom then connected with the trifecta of suplexes, and he ended up going for the cover, to which Gargano ended up kicking out. So Rhea Ripley was arguing with the ref of the count, saying, "Oh, that was 3. So Gargano ended up pulling himself up, started punching Dom back. Dom ended up knocking Gargano away, ended up drop kicking him into the ropes. Gargano ended up avoiding a 619 from Dom, and he ended up delivering a spear to Dom. So Dexter Lumis and Damian Priest ended up tagging in. Dexter Lumis ended up taking it to Damian Priest, ended up hitting the spine buster. Dom ended up charging, but he ended up taking a spine buster from Dexter Lumis. Lumis ended up going back and forth. He ended up hitting both Damian Priest and Dom with some avalanches. Lumis ended up hitting Dom with a bulldog. Lumis then ended up hitting Damian Priest with a back suplex and a twisting leg drop. He ended up going for the cover, to which Priest ended up kicking out. So you had Dom end up blind tagging in. Lumis ended up clotheslining Damian Priest over the top rope. Dom ended up kicking Lumis in the face, and Dom rolled Lumis up with his feet on the ropes, but Candice LeRae ended up pushing Dom's feet off the ropes. So Dexter Lumis and Dom end up taking each other out with a double clothesline. So outside the ring, Rhea Ripley ended up charging at Candice LeRae. Candice LeRae ended up pushing Rhea Ripley into the ring steps. Rhea Ripley ended up quickly coming back, and she delivered an electric chair drop into the barricade on Candice LeRae. So Dexter Lumis appeared behind Rhea Ripley. So Rhea Ripley was smiling at Dexter Lumis. She blew him a kiss, and all of a sudden, Dexter Lumis turned around, and Damian Priest ended up delivering a clothesline to Dexter Lumis. Priest got Lumis in the ring. Priest ended up crushing Lumis with a flatliner and tagged in Dom. Dom ended up hitting the frog splash to Dexter Lumis. So he went for the cover. Gargano broke up the pin. Priest got into the ring. Gargano ended up ducking a spin kick from Priest. So Gargano ended up kicking Priest out of the ring and then delivered a suicide dive. So we had Dom end up dropping Gargano with a baseball slide. Dom ended up going for the Three Amigos on Dexter Lumis, but Lumis ended up getting out of that. So Dexter Lumis ended up grabbing Dom. Dom ended up tagging Damian Priest in, so Priest kicked Lumis in the head, and then Priest laid out Lumis with the South of Heaven, so he went for the cover, and there you go. Damian Priest and Dominik ended up winning the match. But overall, this was a good match here. This was a good tag team match. Judgment Day still on the roll and winning matches. But overall, good tag team match it was. And then we saw a video of what happened earlier today where Kathy Kelly ended up attempting to interview The Miz, who is the host of WrestleMania. Who cares? The Miz hosting WrestleMania is absolutely fucking awful. So Chad Gable ended up running up to Miz, and he ended up asking him if he's seen Otis. So Miz ended up saying to Chad Gable, if he lost his dog, that's not his problem. And Miz ended up saying that he has flyers for this. So Chad Gable ended up saying, that's a good idea. So Chad Gable ended up walking off. So then Kathy Kelly ended up asking Miz if he wants a co-host for WrestleMania. Which the Miz was like, ha 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 ha. And then the camera cut away, and all we saw was Damage Control, Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. They were beating down on Trish Stratus, WWE Hall of Famer Trish Stratus. So Damage Control were bouncing Trish Stratus off of some crates, and we had all three of them end up hitting a kick, a super kick, to Trish Stratus, laying her out. And pretty much that was basically that. So this is, Becky Lynch and Lita, and Trish Stratus is going to join Becky Lynch and Lita, and they're going to face Damage Control at WrestleMania. So it'll be a 6-woman tag. So that's where I see this, going. And there's talk about Trish Stratus saying, oh, Trish Stratus might be sticking around, and that there's going to be a rumored heel turn for Trish Stratus coming up at this year's SummerSlam. Which that's what I heard. Who knows if it's true? But I've heard it, online. So we'll see if that happens. And then we had, oh God, the face-to-face with OMOS and Brock Lesnar. Oh my God. This was fucking awful. Absolutely awful. I mean, who is looking forward to Omos and Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania? Nobody. 100% of you will be like, no, I am not looking forward to that match. That is an awful fucking match. It's not even WrestleMania worthy. This is a match that you would see in Saudi Arabia. Omos and Brock Lesnar does not scream a WrestleMania worthy match or WrestleMania quality match. So Omos was standing in the ring alongside MVP. MVP ended up saying, Brock Lesnar, you are a brilliant athlete, but a terrible tactician. He ended up saying that Lesnar made a critical error, putting his hands on him 2 weeks ago. But the biggest mistake he's ever made in his career was accepting a match against the 7'3", 460-pound Nigerian giant Omos at WrestleMania. Who cares? Who fucking cares? So then Brock Lesnar ended up coming out. Brock Lesnar got a big reaction from the crowd there in Providence. Of course, wearing his cowboy hat. He circled the ring. He was smiling. And then Brock Lesnar got into the ring. He scared MVP. And the crowd there had the balls to chant, holy shit, at this. The crowd thinks this is fucking awesome. What the fuck? In what state of mind was this crowd thinking when they were chanting, holy shit? Like this was some amazing shit that they were seeing. This was fucking awful. I don't know what this crowd there in Providence, Rhode Island was thinking, chanting, holy shit, at this garbage. So, of course, when they were chanting holy shit, it got censored, which is fucking stupid how they do it. Lesnar stepped up to Omos. Omos looked down at Lesnar, and he held his fist up to Lesnar's face. And Omos extended his hand. And then we had a Suplex City chant pick up. Lesnar shook hands with Omos, and he started laughing. Omos wouldn't let go of Lesnar's hand, so Lesnar stomped on Omos' foot. Lesnar ended up going for a German suplex to Omos, but Omos elbowed Lesnar away. Omos then grabbed Lesnar by the head, threw him over the top rope, and Lesnar didn't go over the top rope. So Omos botched that shit right there. So Lesnar ended up landing on his feet because Omos ended up powering him over. Lesnar landed on his feet, backed up as officials ended up running down to the ring. And Lesnar ended up putting his cowboy hat on and walked off. This shit was fucking awful. Garbage. One of the worst segments of the night to build to one of the worst matches in WrestleMania history. Nobody asked for Omos versus Brock Lesnar. Nobody. This is a Vince McMahon move here. Oh yeah, we gotta get Omos in there with the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar, because that's good shit. In Vince's mind, that's good shit. To all the fans, this is fucking awful and garbage. That will be a bathroom break at WrestleMania, this match. Hell, even Bobby Lashley versus Bray Wyatt is going to be a bathroom match. Fucking awful segment this was. Absolute garbage. And then we had Cody Rhodes. He ended up coming out and he ended up taking on LA Knight. So we had Cody Rhodes versus LA Knight. This was a good match here. Bell ended up ringing, and both Cody and LA Knight end up circling the ring. LA Knight, he is just, over with the crowd. People love LA Knight. So both guys end up blocking up. They started tussling around the ring. Knight ended up turning Cody in the corner. LA Knight then ended up blindsiding Cody with a right hand. Cody ended up reversing the whip. Ended up hitting an arm drag to Knight. Cody ended up wrenching Knight's arm, started punching him down. Cody ended up wrenching Knight's arm before it transitioned into a side headlock. Knight ended up backing Cody into the corner, so Cody ended up releasing the headlock. Cody ended up shoving Knight back. Cody got out of a waistlock, ended up kneeing Knight in the face, and Cody ended up going for the cover, to which LA Knight ended up kicking out. LA Knight ended up quickly rolling out of the ring to recover. Cody ended up setting up for a suicide dive, but Knight ended up punching him. Knight pulled Cody out of the ring, tried to bounce him off the barricade, but Cody blocked it. Cody ended up bouncing Knight off the barricade, but Knight came back by whipping Cody's arm into the ring post. So Cody was irate here. Cody knocked Knight into the ring steps and bounced him off the ring post. He got Knight into the ring. Cody ended up going up to the top rope, and Knight quickly ended up going to the top rope, ended up hitting a superplex from the top to Cody. So then as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Cody ended up attempting a delayed vertical suplex on Knight. Knight ended up raking Cody's eyes, ended up hitting the DDT to Cody. Knight ended up going for the cover, and Cody ended up kicking out. So Cody ended up turning Knight around, clotheslined him down, and he ended up hitting an uppercut on Knight. Cody ended up connecting with a snap power slam, and then connected with the disaster kick to Knight. He ended up going for the cover, to which Knight kicked out. Cody then ended up hitting the ropes. He ended up going for the Cody cutter, but Knight countered that into a slam. Knight ended up going for the cover, and Cody ended up kicking out. Knight was going for a blunt force drama, but Cody ended up getting out of that, ended up hitting the springboard off the top rope for a massive Cody cutter. So Cody was fired up, and he ended up hitting the crossroads on Knight. So Cody ended up going for the cover. So there you go. Cody Rhodes ended up winning the match. Post-match, Cody ended up grabbing a mic, and the crowd there in Providence were giving him a great ovation. Cody chant ended up picking up. Cody ended up saying that he keeps hearing these warnings from Paul Heyman that he should stay out of the Bloodline's business. Cody ended up saying that he does not work for the Bloodline or Paul Heyman, to which he said, Mr. Heyman. So he ended up saying that if he wants to come out here, if Cody wants to come out here and stand side by side with Sami Zayn, he can do that. He ended up saying that if he wants to fight alongside Kevin Owens, he can do that. Cody ended up saying that he has also heard Mr. Heyman warn not to make this personal. Cody ended up saying that it has been personal since he appeared on this show at 21 years old in front of these same cameramen. Cody ended up saying that it's personal when week after week he's choked up with every sentence. He ended up saying that it's personal when you wear a protective coat of armor, which is a tailored suit. He ended up saying that it's not because he is somebody. It's because he wants to be somebody. So he ended up saying, Mr. Heyman talks about acknowledging Roman Reigns, but Cody acknowledges him, and Reigns needs to acknowledge him. Reigns needs to acknowledge Cody. So Cody ended up saying that he is not perfect, but he has been perfect since coming back to the company. Cody ended up saying that he is undefeated, and that he grew up thinking that he was a prince in this industry, but he has no crown. Cody wanted to say that on April 2nd, when the sun goes down on Hollywood, it's going down on Roman Reigns' generational run. He ended up saying on April 2nd, it's not just those that have him and Reynolds' blood pumping through their veins. He ended up saying that it's everyone that has ever rooted him on. Cody ended up saying that he has waited his whole life, and will wait no longer. He ended up saying that on April 2nd, he will pin Roman in the middle of the ring and be the first Rhodes to ever say he is the undisputed WWE Universal Champion. So pretty much that was what Cody had to say, but this promo from Cody was very good. No mention of Dusty, thank God, because every promo that Cody has done recently is just focusing on Dusty. It's not about Dusty, it's about Cody. It's about Cody going out there, hopefully defeating Roman Reigns and becoming the undisputed WWE Universal Champion, if he could defeat Roman. That's what it's all about. It's about Cody. And then we have Byron Saxton. Byron Saxton was backstage with Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins was laughing and dancing around. So Byron Saxton ended up asking Rollins about the punch that Rollins took from Logan Paul last week. To which Rollins ended up saying to Saxton that Logan Paul was acting like he won the lottery, because he did. He ended up saying Logan Paul landed the shot of a lifetime on him. He ended up saying that if there is one thing we've learned about him over the past 2 years, you can't keep him down. He ended up saying the next time, Logan Paul. So the Miz ended up walking up behind Rollins. Miz ended up saying that Rollins is just jealous that Logan Paul knocked him out with a single punch. To which last week, I couldn't believe that Rollins sold that punch from that clown. So Rollins ended up saying that he has lost control of the narrative. Miz ended up saying that as the host of WrestleMania, he has privileged information. He ended up saying next Monday, Logan Paul will host Impulsive TV, and that he will be a guest on that. So Baron Corbin ended up walking up, and he ended up saying that he can be a guest since his schedule is free. So Miz ended up saying that's not going to happen. So Corbin ended up mentioning that he could be a co-host of WrestleMania. God, can you imagine if that happened? That'll make WrestleMania even more worse. So Rollins ended up laughing. Miz ended up saying that he doesn't have that kind of pull. So Corbin then suggested that he could train Rollins how to protect himself. Rollins ended up saying that he'd rather take boxing lessons from his baby daughter. So Corbin ended up saying that Rollins is lucky that he's not facing him, because he can knock him out faster than Logan Paul. So Rollins ended up saying, well, that sounds like a challenge. So Rollins ended up accepting the challenge. Miz ended up telling Corbin that if he takes care of Rollins, he'll put the good word in with Logan Paul. So pretty much that was that. This was awful. So we're getting Impulsive TV with Logan Paul next week on Monday Night Raw. Thank you, WWE, for letting me know when to take my bathroom break. Thank you. And then we had Elias versus Bronson Reed. Elias was accompanied by Rick Boogs, because you could tell that they're going to make Elias and Rick Boogs a tag team. Boogs was just taking down notes just watching the match here. Yeah, he's taking down notes on how to lose a match. So, but this was a squash match. Bronson Reed, he is an absolute beast in the ring. WWE should be pushing this guy more often, because when Bronson Reed came out, he just came out to crickets from the crowd. This guy should be over with the crowd. This guy should be getting a pop from the crowd. You could tell by his in-ring work here. The guy is good when he's in the ring. So Elias was wearing an Ezekiel shirt. The bell ended up ringing. Bronson Reed immediately avalanched Elias down, and then he dropped an elbow. Reed ended up crushing Elias with a running cannonball, and then he clubbed Elias. Elias tried to fight back, but Reed ended up avalanching him in the corner. Reed ended up easily throwing Elias down. He ended up going for the cover, and Elias ended up kicking out. So we had Reed ended up applying a a neck vice on Elias. Elias fought up, elbowed Reed back. Elias connected with a boot to Reed. He came off the second rope with a crossbody block, but he got caught by Reed. Elias ended up getting out. He ended up hitting a high knee to Reed. Elias then hit the ropes, but Reed came back and clotheslined him. Reed then connected with a Cyclone Power Slam on Elias. Reed ended up going up to the top rope, and he delivered the tsunami onto Elias. He ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Bronson Reed ended up winning the match. Overall, squash match. Bronson Reed, he should get a pop from the crowd because the guy is just talented in the ring. He is a beast. The guy should be over, with the crowd. And then we had Kathy Kelly. Kathy Kelly was backstage. She was standing outside the trainer's room, hoping to get an update on Trish Stratus. So Chad Gable ended up coming up to Kathy Kelly. And he was holding flyers, looking for Otis. Kathy Kelly ended up telling Chad Gable that she hasn't seen Otis. So Gable ended up walking off. So then Becky Lynch and Lita ended up charging by. And they entered the trainer's room. And pretty much that was that. So then as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Kathy Kelly was now backstage with Kevin Owens. Kathy Kelly ended up asking Kevin Owens about facing Sikoa in a street fight. She ended up asking why Kevin Owens refused help from Sami Zayn. Kevin Owens ended up saying to Kathy Kelly that he needed help for a long time, and he didn't get it. He ended up saying that Sami Zayn has been asking him for help. He ended up saying with the history between them, is it really that hard to understand why he wouldn't want to fight alongside Sami Zayn? Kevin Owens ended up saying that he doesn't need him. So Kevin Owens was like, as for Cody, if he wants to help out Sami, then that's his problem. Kevin Owens ended up saying that he also doesn't want Cody's help. He ended up saying that Cody needs to focus on his match against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Kevin Owens ended up saying that he doesn't want to be responsible for Cody not making it to WrestleMania. And Kevin Owens ended up saying that he will fight Sikoa and anyone else he brings by himself. So pretty much that was basically what Kevin Owens had to say. So then we saw earlier today, the Street Profits made fun of Austin Theory about after Austin Theory being destroyed by John Cena. So Theory ended up laughing. He ended up saying that he hopes they'll continue to be good at this because this is all they've got. So Austin Theory ended up saying that in a few months, they'll be unemployed. As for him, he got what he wanted, which is a match against John Cena at WrestleMania. He ended up saying that Cena had a lot to say about him because he's the most important thing in the company. Theory ended up saying that he wants to figure out who is the toughest among the Street Profits. So Austin Theory ended up thinking that the toughest among them is Angelo Dawkins, and that it's not Montez Ford. Theory ended up saying that when it comes to Ford, he's a big bag of jokes. He ended up saying that the biggest joke is that he lands on his face when he gets an opportunity. So Theory ended up saying that whenever he gets an opportunity, he goes straight to the top. He ended up saying that the smoke they claim to bring just leads them to choke. So then Dawkins ended up saying that Cena is going to humble him at WrestleMania. Cena is going to humble Theory at WrestleMania. Dawkins ended up saying that the humbling doesn't need to wait, and that he'll cook Austin Theory. Theory ended up accepting, and he reminds the Street Profits that they're doing nothing at WrestleMania. So pretty much that was basically that. And then we had Austin Theory versus Angelo Dawkins. And this was an okay match here. So we had Montez Ford out there. The bell ended up ringing. Dawkins ended up quickly taking Theory down with a waistlock. Theory ended up elbowing Dawkins back, started stomping him down. Theory end up whipping Dawkins into the corner. Dawkins end up slingshotting over Theory. Dawkins end up cartwheeling around Theory, end up delivering a drop kick to Theory. Dawkins end up hitting a flapjack to Theory. He ended up going for the cover, to which Theory kicked out. Theory fought back, started punching Dawkins down in the corner. Theory then ended up hitting a snapmare, and he applied a chinlock on Dawkins. Dawkins fought up, but Theory ended up clubbing Dawkins back down. Dawkins popped up, and he ended up delivering a right hand to Theory. Theory ended up reversing the whip, ended up tripping Dawkins. Theory ended up pulling Dawkins out of the ring, sending him into the barricade. Theory then started punching away at Dawkins, ended up sending him into the barricade again. And as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we had Theory end up beating Dawkins down, started talking trash to him. Dawkins ended up quickly coming back with an exploder suplex. Dawkins then ended up hitting a pair of clotheslines. Theory ended up quickly kicking Dawkins, sending him into the ropes. Dawkins ended up jumping over. Theory ended up hitting a flying back elbow. So Dawkins ended up hitting a twisting avalanche in the corner and connected with an enziguri to Theory. Theory ended up rolling him up quickly for a 2 count. So at the end of the match, we had Dawkins end up hitting a sunset flip for a 2 count. Dawkins connected with a step-up enziguri on Theory. He ended up going for a twisting avalanche, but Theory ended up decking him with a right hand, to which Theory followed up with the A-Town down on Dawkins. So Theory ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Austin Theory ended up winning the match. Post-match, Theory ended up sauntering around the ring, and he locked in the STF on Dawkins. Of course, the STF, one of John Cena's signature moves. So Theory ended up releasing the STF. He got out of the ring as Montez Ford ended up running down for the save. Theory ended up grabbing the United States Championship, and he did "You Can't See Me." Of course, reference to John Cena. So pretty much that was basically that. But overall, okay match between Austin Theory and Angelo Dawkins. And as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we saw Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman stormed up to Kathy Kelly, and he ended up telling Kathy Kelly that the Bloodline has a problem. And that problem is Kevin Owens. He ended up saying tonight the Bloodline demonstrates that they solve all problems. Paul Heyman ended up saying that the Kevin Owens problem will be solved by the Samoan street fighter named Solo Sikoa. He ended up saying that Cody Rhodes also has a problem, and that Cody thinks the truth shall set him free, but the truth will imprison his mind, and thinking this will be personal to the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. So he ended up saying, of course, this is personal to Cody. That's what makes him such a compelling challenger for the main event of WrestleMania. He ended up saying that to make this personal to Roman Reigns makes him a schmuck. So Paul Heyman ended up calling Cody a schmuck. He ended up saying that if Cody wants to acknowledge Roman Reigns, then Paul Heyman will give him a chance. So Paul Heyman ended up saying, next week on Monday Night Raw in St. Louis, the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, will be on the show. So Roman will be working Monday next week. So he ended up saying that Cody will acknowledge the tribal chief. He ended up saying that at that moment, he'll make the biggest personal and business decision of his life. He ended up saying that Cody will decide if he's a challenger or a problem. He ended up saying that Cody is a problem that Roman Reigns will love to personally solve. So basically that was what Paul Heyman had to say. Good promo from Paul Heyman there. So Roman Reigns will be on Monday Night Raw next week from St. Louis. And then we have Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio, he's going into the Hall of Fame this year. He's the first inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame this year. So he ended up making his way out, got a big reaction from the crowd. Rey Mysterio ended up posing for a bit, and he ended up thanking the crowd for the reaction. We had a "You Deserve It" chant pick up, him deserving to go into the Hall of Fame. So Rey ended up saying that he has to admit that it feels really damn good to be back on Monday Night Raw. He ended up saying just last year, they were celebrating 20 years together, and that it was a huge celebration. He ended up saying now, here they are celebrating the biggest honors of his life. So Rey ended up saying that he wants to be clear about this, and that this isn't just his award. He ended up saying this is made by the people that help him build his career. He ended up saying this was made by the fans that connected with him for all the years he's been in the business. He ended up saying this award is not just for him, it's for all of us. So then Dominik ended up coming out. He walked out to the stage. Dom ended up sarcastically congratulating his father, and he just refers to him as Rey. Of course, Dominik, still awful on the mic. So Dom ended up saying that he actually deserves it. Rey actually deserves it because he put his entire life into this business. So Dom ended up saying that he hopes it was worth it because Rey earned that honor at the expense of his son. So he had a "You Suck" chant pick up to Dominik. Dom got in the ring. He ended up saying Rey put his entire life into this business, and that Rey chose all of these strangers, meaning all the fans, rather than be there for his kids. So Dom was like, is it an honor that he went all those nights without having a father? He was like, how does it feel? He ended up saying Rey told him that if he got good grades, he would take him out. Dom ended up saying that when his 8th grade promotion came up, Rey ditched him for WrestleMania. So he ended up saying when he turned 16, Rey ended up getting him a new car. He ended up saying all of his friends showed up with a brand new Mercedes, and Rey only gave Dom a BMW. So Dom ended up lamenting that it wasn't even an M series. So Dom ended up saying that Rey is afraid because he sees him for what he really is. Dom ended up saying that he sees Rey as a sad, ugly excuse for a father. So then he was like, no, a man. So Rey ended up telling Dom to take that back. But Dom ended up lowering his mic. Dom ended up saying that he'll let Rey enjoy his Hall of Fame weekend at WrestleMania. But it'll make it better for him because he's challenging him to a match at WrestleMania. So Rey looked away in shame. The yes chant was picking up from the crowd. So Dom looked down on his father. Rey ended up saying to Dom, he doesn't know how many times he has to tell him. He ended up saying that he won't fight his own son. So the crowd ended up booing at that. He ended up saying whether Dom believes it or not, he will love Dom and always will. So Rey ended up saying that there will be no match at WrestleMania. So then Rey ended up walking off. And Dom ended up asking if this is really a Hall of Famer. And if Rey is just going to walk away. So Dom ended up saying that Rey is doing what he does best. He ended up saying Rey ran away from Raw. He ran away from his entire family and him. So Dom ended up saying that the only thing Rey taught him is what not to be. So Rey ended up turning around. He looked furious at his son. Rey turned back to the stage and walked off. And pretty much that was basically that. But Rey ended up saying that there will be no match at WrestleMania. I highly doubt that. I think we're going to be getting Dom versus Ray at WrestleMania. That's going to probably be Ray's retirement match. So Dom has to do something really, really bad to get Ray to possibly slap his son and have a match with him at WrestleMania. I could see possibly Dom, attacking his mom or his sister. Maybe they do that. And then, that will make Ray snap to the point where Ray's going to be down on his son. So I sense that's possibly where it's going to go. So, but if we do get that match, Dom versus Ray at WrestleMania, Ray's going into the Hall of Fame. I think that's going to be Ray's retirement match. His retirement match is going to be with his son. And then we had Kathy Kelly. Kathy Kelly was outside the trainer's room, and Becky Lynch and Lita ended up coming out with Trish Stratus out of the trainer's room. Lita ended up saying that they should have finished the job. And then Trish Stratus ended up saying that all Damage Control has managed to do is piss her off. So pretty much that was basically that. And then we had The Miz end up coming out. Too much Miz tonight on the show. So he made his way to the ring. He'll be on commentary for the next match, which was Baron Corbin versus Seth Rollins. So now we saw Rhea Ripley in a Stranger Things spoof. This was for a promo for WrestleMania. And you heard the voice of John Cena there. Rhea Ripley was concentrating on a can to crush the can with her mind. Just like Stranger Things, with 11, Millie Bobby Brown. So, it was pretty cool. And then after Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we had the announcement of Backlash. Backlash is coming to Puerto Rico. It will be hosted by Bad Bunny. Great. Fucking great. But Backlash, like I said, it's coming to Puerto Rico. WWE, hasn't held anything in Puerto Rico since 2005. New Year's Revolution was the last time that they were in Puerto Rico. Of course, in 2005 in January. So it's good to see WWE going back to Puerto Rico for a premium live event. And then we have Baron Corbin versus Seth Rollins. This was boring. Absolutely boring. Seth Rollins got a huge ovation from the crowd. The crowd was behind him in this match. So Baron Corbin ended up attacking Rollins from behind. And Rollins ended up telling the ref that he is okay to start the match. So the match ended up getting underway. Corbin ended up taking it to Rollins for a few moments. Rollins quickly ended up beginning to fight back on Corbin. Rollins ducked a pair of clotheslines from Corbin. He ended up kicking Corbin in his midsection and knocked him back. Rollins then clotheslined Corbin over the top rope. He ended up sizing Corbin up, ended up hitting a suicide dive, which knocked Corbin onto the commentary table. Rollins then ended up hitting a flying knee to the head off the apron. So The Miz started shouting at Rollins. The crowd was singing away to Rollins' theme music. Rollins ended up sending Corbin into The Miz, ended up putting him in the ring. Rollins then ended up kicking Corbin down, ended up catching Miz with an enziguri as he got into the ring. So both Corbin and Miz were down in the ring. Rollins ended up jumping off of Miz's back and ended up hitting Corbin with the stomp. And he ended up going for the cover. And there you go. Seth Rollins ended up winning the match. Overall, boring match. And then we had Chad Gable. Chad Gable still looking for Otis backstage. Mustafa Ali ended up coming up to him So Corbin ended up asking Mustafa Ali if he has seen Otis. And Mustafa Ali ended up saying that he hasn't seen Otis. And Mustafa Ali ended up saying that he hasn't seen Chad Gable smiling. So Mustafa Ali, he has this stupid new gimmick where he's wearing a hat and glasses, making him look like a geek. Awful. So Mustafa Ali ended up saying that the one thing he's looking for could be around the corner. So Chad Gable ended up shushing Mustafa Ali. Chad Gable ended up turning the corner, and he ended up seeing Otis posing for photos with the Maximum Male models. So Marseille and Mansois ended up saying that they're working on headshots of Otis. So Chad Gable, he ended up trying to say, oh, so we missed our, list today. So Chad Gable ended up going into the photos, and we had the Maximum Male models end up calling Chad Gable ugly, and they end up walking off. So Otis ended up following. He apologized to Chad Gable, and that was that. This is awful. So now we're possibly going to be seeing Otis, them call Otis Otis, when he joins the Maximum Male models. Great. And then we had Bianca Belair versus Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green was accompanied by Carmella. This was boring. So we had both women end up blocking up. Bianca Belair ended up powering Chelsea Green down with a shove. Chelsea Green ended up pushing her back, ended up slapping Bianca to the corner. Bianca Belair ended up chasing Chelsea Green back, but Chelsea Green ended up putting herself through the ropes to keep Bianca back. So Bianca ended up shoving Green, ended up hitting a waistlock takeover on her. We had Carmella later on get a cheap shot in on Bianca, and Chelsea Green ended up picking up a 2 count on Bianca. So we had later on Carmella ended up getting on the apron. Bianca ended up knocking her off. So Bianca ended up coming back and delivering the KOD because Chelsea Green ended up knocking Bianca down. So Bianca Belair came back, hit the KOD on Chelsea Green. And there you go. Bianca Belair ended up winning the match. Post-match, we have Bianca Belair end up fighting off a double team from Chelsea Green and Carmella. So Asuka ended up coming out. Asuka ended up kicking Chelsea Green in the head. Bianca ended up slamming Chelsea Green down. Asuka then picked up the Raw Women's Championship. As she looked at it, Asuka ended up pulling it away from Bianca a few times and held it up. So Asuka was looking at Bianca Belair, ended up showing that she has that blue mist in her mouth. So Asuka started laughing and dropped the title, and pretty much that was that. Where's the story? Where's the story with Asuka and Bianca Belair? Still, no story with them. Chelsea Green, nothing but a jobber here. Chelsea Green is buried. Overall, boring match. And then we had what we're going to see on Monday Night Raw next week. So we're going to have Logan Paul hosting Impulsive TV. That'll be my bathroom break. We're going to have Austin Theory versus Montez Ford. We have Bianca Belair and Asuka versus Carmella and Chelsea Green. But can Bianca and Asuka coexist? And then we're going to have Roman Reigns return to Raw. So that's what we're going to see on Monday Night Raw next week in St. Louis. Main event. Sikoa versus Kevin Owens in a street fight. This was a pretty good match here. Kevin Owens and Sikoa end up brawling at ringside. The bell ended up ringing, Owens ended up getting Sikoa in the ring. Sikoa ended up stomping on Kevin Owens as he got in. Sikoa ended up chopping away at Kevin Owens' chest. Owens ended up reversing the whip, ended up hitting a reverse elbow. Owens then connected with a senton splash before going out for a cannonball in the corner. But Sikoa ended up getting out of the ring. Kevin Owens ended up following Sikoa out of the ring. Sikoa ended up punching him in the face. Sikoa ended up driving Kevin Owens into the barricade as a "We Want Tables" chant ended up picking up. So Kevin Owens ended up kicking and punching away at Sikoa. Sikoa ended up reversing the whip into the barricade, and Kevin Owens ended up quickly popping out and clotheslining Sikoa down. Owens ended up standing on Sikoa's hand, and he started chopping the chest of Sikoa. So Sikoa ended up quickly kneeing Kevin Owens in his midsection, ended up chopping Kevin Owens' chest. Sikoa then bounced Owens off the commentary table a few times, and Owens ended up turning around on Sikoa. So Kevin Owens ended up charging at Sikoa, but Sikoa ended up catching Owens and delivered the Samoan drop on him. Sikoa started punching Kevin Owens in the head, and he ended up jumping off the bottom rope to hit a stomp. Sikoa ended up stopping Owens, ended up hitting a fallen headbutt. Kevin Owens ended up rolling out of the ring to recover. Sikoa ended up going under the ring and pulled out a pair of steel chairs. Owens ended up attacking Sikoa, ended up whipping him into the ring steps. So Owens then ended up going under the ring, and he pulled out a table, which got a big ovation because the crowd was chanting, "We want tables." Kevin Owens ended up going to put the table in the ring, but Sikoa ended up attacking him, throwing him over the commentary table. Sikoa put the table back under the ring, which got boos from the crowd. So then as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Kevin Owens was shown throwing a bunch of steel chairs in the ring. There were 6 chairs in the ring. Kevin Owens ended up grabbing one of them, ended up attacking Sikoa with that at ringside. Owens ended up setting up 2 chairs in the ring. He set up 4 more chairs next to the 2 chairs that were there. They were seat to seat. Kevin Owens ended up punching Sikoa down onto the chairs. He went up to the top rope. Sikoa ended up popping up and attacked Owens. Sikoa headbutted Owens a few times. He ended up going for a superplex onto the chairs. So Kevin Owens ended up fighting Sikoa off, ended up hitting some headbutts. Sikoa came back. He flipped Owens off the top rope, and he drove Owens through the chairs. So that was unbelievable. That was great. Great spot there. So Sikoa ended up going for the cover as Kevin Owens ended up kicking out. So Kevin Owens rolled out of the ring, stumbled to the commentary table. Owens ended up kicking Sikoa back, ended up sending him into the ring post. Owens then connected with a cannonball against the barricade to Sikoa. He put Sikoa over the barricade, and they brawled into the crowd. Sikoa retreated backstage. So Kevin Owens ended up going into gorilla position backstage. And all we saw was the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, end up laying Kevin Owens out with a double super kick. So the Usos and Sikoa end up bringing Kevin Owens to the ring. They end up attacking him. Sikoa ended up connected with the Samoan spike. So Sikoa ended up going for the cover. And there you go. Sikoa ended up winning the match. Post-match, Owens looked like he was spinning up from the shot to his throat from the Samoan spike from Sikoa. So pretty much that was basically how Monday Night Raw went off the air. Overall, I thought this was a pretty good match between Sikoa and Kevin Owens in the street fight. But overall, very mediocre Monday Night Raw this was tonight. But anyways, that's it for the Monday Night Raw review. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Be sure to check out my previous video, which was the movie hunting video I did earlier today, if you guys haven't seen it. And I will see you all on Wednesday for AEW Dynamite.